Channel 31 acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land on which this episode was filmed, the Dja Dja Wurrung peoples, and pay our respects to their elders past and present. We extend those respects to the Wurundjeri peoples of the Kulin Nation, the land on which the Channel 31 studios are based. Last time on Rediscover Victoria, we tasted some locally produced cider, spent the morning visiting beaches at Wilson's Prom, and got up close and personal with some bees at Blue Tree Honey Farm. Last episode, we took Harriet the Kombi across Port Phillip Bay to start our journey through the western part of the state. From Queenscliff, it's just short of a 3-hour drive to the city of Bendigo. First up, we're on our way to visit the Great Stupa of Universal Compassion, which is situated about 20 minutes from the centre of town. A stupa is the most sacred building in Buddhism. It symbolises the enlightened mind and the path to enlightenment, and also houses holy relics. The Great Stupa of Universal Compassion is the same size and design as the famous 15th century Gyantse Stupa in Tibet. The site is fairly new, with construction only beginning in 2003. My name's Annie Louey, and this is Rediscover Victoria. Today we're headed to Bendigo and Castlemaine, but right now we're at the Great Stupa of Universal Compassion. Let's take a look around. The Great Stupa of Universal Compassion is 50 metres wide at its base and nearly 50 metres high. This makes it the largest stupa in the Western world. I'm about to meet with Alice to learn more about this holy site. Hi Elise.
Hi.
Thanks for meeting me here.
No problem, nice to have you.
Tell me about your role and how you got involved.
So I'm the marketing and events coordinator here. I plan our annual events and I look after the website, our social media channels and just the general marketing of the place.
Yep, and you've got an interest in Buddhism?
Yeah, so I did a lot of travel around Asian countries and developed an interest in Buddhism, and I just have a real passion for the project here.
Mm-hmm. How long has this been here in Bendigo?
So construction started in 2003, though the project was initially sort of thought of and drawn up in 1981. So it's already been 17 years in construction. We probably estimate another 50 years before the entire project is complete. But that not only involves the stupa, but also the gardens, a hotel, a restaurant, a village, and eventually an aged care facility and a primary school as well.
All right, let's go.
Cool.
Alice is going to give us a tour of the site, starting with the Tibetan prayer wheels. What's the meaning behind the script?
So these are prayer wheels that are made from copper in Nepal, handmade in Nepal. And the mantra on the outside is an old Tibetan mantra, which is Om Mani Padme Hum. It's a mantra of compassion. And that same mantra is printed on a scroll on the inside 20 million times. And it said that if you spin the wheels clockwise, it releases the...
Is there a way to spin it respectfully?
It's always clockwise. Yeah. And I guess when you are spinning it, you should sort of be thinking about releasing good thoughts and good mantras into the world. Yeah, people sort of walk along and spin them all, especially as they're circumambulating around the stupa. They sort of spin them all as they go.
Alice and I continue our tour through the garden when we come up to the statue of the goddess Guanyin.
She was made in Vietnam and then painted by local artists here, so the eyes and the gold halo and the urn as well. And she will be, she's placed in this pond here, and she'll have water coming out of the urn as well, so she'll be like a water feature.
So it's not finished yet?
No, it's not complete. And it took us about 7 or 8 years to actually fund to have her made, so a lot of time and a lot of sponsors and things that go into it. We finally got her here last year.
I recognise this one because my mum praise to Guanyin. I got excited.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
I recognise her, old mate.
Yeah, she's pretty beautiful, and she'll have a gem. There's like a hole in between her eyes up there as well, where we'll place a gemstone. This is the Four Harmonious Friends, which is a really important teaching in Buddhism about harmony. So it's four unlikely friends: the elephant, the monkey, the rabbit, and the pheasant, all working together to reach fruit that's high up in the tree, so that they all get food instead of working individually to try and get it. So it was actually done by a sculptor from Thailand named Joy. He travelled over from Thailand and spent a bit of time here. Actually, he did it on 2 different trips and completed the statue that way. So all these trees here with this, sort of like the heart-shaped leaves are called Bodhi trees, and they're said to be the tree that Buddha was sitting underneath when he found enlightenment. So these are cuttings from that original tree and brought to Australia by the Dalai Lama. So they're traditionally grown in India as well, so they like a really warm climate. But we've managed to keep a few obviously going in here, which we'll eventually call the Bodhi forest here. They'll get quite large. They're part of the fig family.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's amazing. The climate seems to match and they're doing well.
Yeah, they're doing well. So we actually have to cover them up for winter, just build a little cover for them to keep them out of the frost. They really love the summertime, and they're a really special tree to have here. There's not many in Australia.
The stupa has been constructed using techniques and materials that will withstand fire, earthquakes and wind, with the hope of building a structure that will last 1,000 years. Once complete, the entire exterior of the building will be colourfully decorated. We're heading inside now to learn more about the holy relics housed here. Inside the stupa lives a 2.5 metre Jade Buddha for Universal Peace statue, the world's largest gem-quality Jade Buddha statue. What are we seeing here in the background?
So this is the Jade Buddha for Universal Peace. He's a really significant icon. He travelled the world for a long time and has been seen by over 11 million people worldwide, just spreading the message of peace. So he was carved from, he's the largest gem quality Jade Buddha carved from the same boulder. So it was a Canadian man who found this huge boulder in Canada. So it was carved from the 18-ton boulder, and he is himself weighs 4 tonne. And then with all the offcuts, we actually created some jade pendants and jade jewellery, which we now use to raise money for the project as well.
Is the Buddha still touring? Does he
No,
hop out sometimes?
So he travelled, for a long time, 10 years or so before he actually, this will be his permanent home. He came back in 2018. There are requests from the US and other places for him to travel again, so he may in future, but not. We don't have any plans at this stage for him to leave the temple here.
And a lot of the inside is still being constructed. How long will you take to finish?
That's a good question. A lot of it depends on how we're able to fund the next stage of the project. We estimate probably another 50 years before it's complete in here, just to get all the internal walls up for all the shrine rooms. So there'll be about 80 shrine rooms that go around the entire building. And then after they're complete, each one will need to be filled with lots of different statues and artworks and Buddhist relics as well. So it will take a long time.
Definitely a long-term project.
Yes.
Our visit to the stupa has come to an end, but I can't wait to return in maybe 5, 10, 15 or 50 years to see how construction has progressed.
Whilst filming Rediscover Victoria in Bendigo, our crew chose to stay at Bendigo Cottages. Bendigo Cottages are your home away from home. Your resident host, Diane G, invites you to experience the ultimate in bed and breakfast accommodation in Bendigo. 3 charming cottages set in a delightful cottage garden in the heart of Bendigo. Pamper yourself in luxury in the very private, tranquil surrounds. Centrally situated a short walk from local pubs, restaurants, and in close proximity to the historic Arts Precinct. To book your stay at Bendigo Cottages, head to bendigocottages.com.
After a morning of enlightenment at the Great Stupa of Universal Compassion, we headed into the centre of town to visit the Bendigo Joss House Temple. This is the heart of Bendigo. The conservatory gardens are behind me, plenty of restaurants and food options, laneway art and much more. Looks like a great place to come for a picnic. I'm going to see what the locals are up to. Bendigo is situated on Dja Dja Wurrung country and has a population of 100,000. Bendigo is probably best known as a gold rush town. Gold was officially discovered in the area in October 1851, sparking a large migration to the region. These days you'll also get to see some beautiful vintage and refurbished trams passing by. Bendigo is dotted with vibrant street art, cosy laneways and boutique clothing stores. Walking down one of the laneways, I've just spotted the cutest dog offering free pats. Thanks, dog. The Bendigo Joss House Temple, a Chinese place of prayer, was opened in 1871. Standing for over a century, the temple is one of the few remaining buildings of its type in Australia. I'm excited to catch up with Joss House supervisor Darren to get a tour of the place. Hello!
Hello, welcome!
Hi, thank you. This looks great.
Welcome to our lovely little and very old temple.
Yes, tell me about your role here.
Well, I'm actually technically the Joss House supervisor. I have been working here for a decade now. It's interesting, actually, I came here with my primary school in 1976 at the tender and impressionable age of 8. Spiritually, I'm told by the worshippers that come here, my passion is obvious and I have actually never left here spiritually.
Wow,
so
that's amazing.
It's an amazing place, but it's something so old, it's actually still functional.
Yeah. How many rooms have you got?
Well, there are only 3 main buildings and one of those is divided into two rooms.
And today you're going to be showing us a few of those? Tell
Absolutely,
me about
and I'll explain some of the significance of them to you as well.
Wonderful, let's go check it out.
Absolutely.
My mum always tells me off saying I have to do just 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, that's enough. Stop. 4's an unlucky number. We're in the main temple now. What have we got on display here?
Well, this altar is actually specifically dedicated to a former Chinese war hero, if you like. His name was Guanyin or Guanyin. The Chinese that came to this country came to a country where they were not terribly welcomed by people. I mean, classic fear of the unknown was part of it. They spoke a different language, they had a different belief system. They're also seen as unfavourable competition on the goldfields. So if you were of that particular ethnic extraction and you had a god that was going to look after your interests from up in heaven while you were here, it's good to have that god. And Guanyin is that particular god. He is the god of war and the god of commerce. He is a great protector, a great judge. If you are allied in business, armed services, a sportsman, this is your altar basically.
And people have left these things here from previous worshipping.
You come here to ask the powers that be for something in terms to change your life if things aren't going well. You don't get something for nothing, so it's always a good idea to bring something. And the gods get their nourishment from what's placed on the altar in terms of food and drink.
And you will notice that all the numbers are lucky numbers. You've got like groups of 3.
Absolutely.
Apples there.
Multiples of 3 are extremely lucky. All sorts of things are brought. We have got a pomelo here at the moment. These decorated apples are very typical at Chinese New Year. Oranges are always greatly favoured because they last a long time because of the thick skin, but we've got plums and peaches and there's a dragon fruit over there and a mango, all sorts of stuff.
I can't remember the what this is called, but is this the fortune
sticks? People would come here seeking a form of divination. If you had a particular decision in your life that you needed to make and you wanted a bit of metaphysical guidance, you could come to the temple and ask. And fortune sticks are basically a series of bamboo slivers. What you're supposed to do is you go shake the container. Eventually, one stick is going to come out ahead of all the rest. This stick here is the winner. If we look the number up, that number is my fortune for today, number 20. I can look that up, and that will tell me all the things to embrace and all the things to avoid. So let's see if today was a good day to get out of bed. Apparently not. Now, bearing in mind, this will relate to a particular decision that I might need to make in my life. But the message is generally very unfavourable. Prediction and advice. Lawsuits unsuccessful and should stop. Well, I don't have any, so that's not so bad. Wealth and position beyond reach, so I will not be winning Tats Lotto this week. Dear ones are far away. Future should be viewed with complacency.
Okay, now it's my turn. Well, I was going to ask if this series is going to be a success, but I'm not supposed to tell you what I want to ask, so I'll just keep it in my mind. $76.
Well, you'll be pleased to know that you've got a better one than I did. Fair prospect. Be sure you are right before taking lawsuits. Wealth and position spring from uprightness. Right time for asking for a son. proper conduct leads to happiness.
Oh, great. I love this so specific about lawsuits. They're
Oh.
very preoccupied with not getting sued.
I might hasten to add that I've had a number of gentlemen come here who are businessmen having been involved in lawsuits. And they've come here and asked 1D for help. And they've come back to give thanks because they won those lawsuits.
It's a real privilege to have entered this main temple building. We've got a few other things to see before we go, so could you please take us over?
Absolutely, my pleasure. We are standing in the Confucian Hall. Now, there are a number of different altars within the temple complex, and basically what happens here is not actually religion at all. It is actually philosophy. The difference being doctrine is basically the root of religion. It's basically a set of rules, you do them or else. Whereas in philosophy, it is the power of suggestion, and it's left entirely up to you about how much you take on board. The three philosophies that are practiced here are Taoism, Confucianism and Buddhism. Depending on your walk of life and the things that drive you in life, depends on which one of those three stands out ahead of the crowd.
Really interesting. I didn't know about those three.
Yes.
And we've got more offerings here as well. And,
Absolutely. Well, for example, the one just next to you, this is the Peach Blossom Lady, or Peach Blossom Fairy as she's sometimes called. She is the universal matchmaker. So if you're looking for a partner in life, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, come and talk to her.
I see. Well, my fortune said I should wish for a son, so maybe this is where I should be.
Maybe this is the preliminaries. Lots of people have come here as singles and have come back as doubles.
Wow.
She is very, very proficient.
This is probably the most floral of all of the altars we've seen. Why is that?
Well, this altar is dedicated to Guanyin. Guanyin is the goddess of compassion and mercy, protector of mothers and children. As I said before, the one who hears the cries of the world. So you've got a specific problem in your life, particularly if it pertains to family. You can come and ask the goddess to help you.
And is there anything in particular that people bring to this altar?
Once again, the usual mix of food and drink. Flowers are some of her favourite things. But if you're coming to ask for something specific, you can use the old practice of placing what is called an effigy on the altar. So this, for example, has a tendency to look like a child has left a toy behind. Well, it is so much more than that. This represents a child. The family that placed this here, a young couple, had actually been trying to have children for a number of years. They had no luck whatsoever. Their grandmother went to the local market, bought some wool and some material and made this bear. You'll see that it has no face. Now in Chinese symbolism, that means it has no gender. And an effigy is a thing that's suggesting. So it's asking Guanyin for a child, and we don't care if it's a boy or a girl. 11 months later, they had a baby girl.
Wow.
I'm actually considered to be uncle.
Oh.
It happened on my watch, shall we say.
Yeah, so
and
this
I'm
is
considered to be part of that family as a result of that. And the bear, of course,
it's staying there.
is still here because when they need a brother or sister,
they'll come back and
they'll come back.
pray for it. Yeah.
And that's the important thing too. You must come back and give thanks.
Thanks for having us, Darren. It's been a wonderful experience to check out the inside of the Joss Temple. I've learnt a lot even as a Chinese person myself, so there's so much history. Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Whilst filming Rediscover Victoria, our crew travelled in style thanks to Hire a Kombi, where the dream and possibility of driving a Volkswagen Kombi has become a reality. Our team of Volkswagens are here for you to experience the joy and magic of a Kombi ride for all purposes, including camping, weddings, marketing, photo shoots and more. When you think of a Kombi, you can't help but smile, and the experience of a Kombi trip is once in a lifetime. The vehicles are unique and fun and will definitely be a showstopper when you pull up to any occasion. You can hire Harriet, an automatic 8-seater Kombi with a sliding sunroof for your next road trip, or one of our other Volkswagen vehicles. This is a truly unique business. Hire a Kombi allows you to pick up your van, leave your car and head away for moments of a lifetime. So go ahead and fall in love with the Kombi experience. We promise it's very hard not to. For inquiries or to book your next Kombi, head to hireakombi.com.
After spending the day in Bendigo learning about its history and Enlightenment, we're travelling 30 minutes south to the town of Castlemaine to check out the Castlemaine Mill. Starting as the Castlemaine Woolen Mill in 1875 and finishing as Victoria Carpets in 2013, the mill has transformed into a precinct for food and artisan manufacturing. I've been told to check out the enormous vintage bazaar, but first a stop in at the Viennese-inspired Das Coffee House, because it's been a long day and us Melburnians need our coffee. I'm at the mill in Castlemaine. I've ordered my apple strudel with whipped cream. This is Das Coffee House. Look at the interior, it is incredible. And I've got my coffee as well. I've got to get my energy up because the vintage bazaar is massive and we've got so much to get through. Das gut Strudel. It's time to check out the vintage bazaar. The space is massive at around 2,000 square metres, offering a diverse and eclectic edit of vintage magnificence, plus an array of new and handcrafted items. There's clothes, furniture, homewares, art, even a knight's armour. Not sure if we've got enough time to get through it all, but always time for a game though. Hello and welcome to The Price is Right. You guess the price, I'll tell you if you're right. How much is this calculator?
30.
30?
$5.
30! You got it! There you go! You get to take that home. One more thing, little boy statue thing.
25.
25, 50. Any more?
36.
36, the price is right, congratulations! Producer Lauren takes home the major prize. Well, at least the sign's honest. Time to take a look around. Should I take up fishing? I show off my sweet guitar skills to cameraman Mike. He looks very impressed. Oh yes, I found the one. No one will ever know. I'm never leaving this place. Well, that's all I've got time for in Castlemaine and Bendigo. We're on to the next place, which is Dalesford, so I'll see you there. Next time on Rediscover Victoria, we're bound for Ballarat. On the way, we visit Lavangela Swiss-Italian Lavender Farm. I get a masterclass in G&Ts at Roy Hammond, and a walking tour of Ballarat with local artist Travis Price. See you then!